Direct variation is a relationship where there is a constant ratio between all ordered pairs. If you're going to write direct variation as an equation, the equation would be y equals kx. This is similar to y equals mx plus b, but b is always equal to 0. If you wanted to find the constant, you just have to divide both sides by x, and you get k equals y divided by x. The graph is always going to be a straight line through the origin. And if we're missing values, we can use proportions to find the missing values. To find the constant, our constant is y divided by x. So we can check our ordered pairs and do 4 divided by 1 equals 4. 8 divided by 2 equals 4. 12 divided by 3 equals 4. And 16 divided by 4 equals 4. So k, our constant, is equal to 4. Three divided by negative 6 is negative 1/2. 2 divided by negative 4 is negative 1/2. 0, 0 is the origin, which is good for direct variation. And negative 1 divided by 2 is negative 1/2. So k equals negative 1/2. Negative 8 divided by negative 12 is positive 2/3. Negative 4 divided by negative 6 is 2/3. 0, 0 is the origin. And our last point is 2 divided by 3. So k is equal to 2/3. 12 divided by negative 4 is negative 3. 3 divided by negative 1 is negative 3. Negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3. 15 divided by 5 is negative 3. So k equals negative 3. In equations, remember a direct variation equation is y equals kx. So we're looking for an equation that is solved for y and has a number times x. We could also see some number k equals y divided by x. Y equals kx, this is direct variation. Y equals a number times x, direct variation. Y equals 2, not direct variation because there's no x. If we solved this for y equals 5/2x, direct variation. This one is subtracting 4. Direct variation does not have addition or subtraction. And y equals negative 1 times x is good. So 5, 6, 8, and 10 are direct variation. Remember, in graphs, the graph of a direct variation equation is a straight line, and this line has to go through the origin. This is a direct variation equation. K is equal to up 3/2. This is not a direct variation equation. It does not go through the origin. 16 is direct variation. K is equal to down 1/4. This is a direct variation equation. K is equal to up 1/1. Remember, our constant of variation is y divided by x. So we can use a proportion y over x equals y over x to find the missing value. Our first ratio is -4 divided by 2. Our next ratio is y divided by -6. When you're solving proportions, we cross multiply. 2 times y is 2y. -4 times -6 is 24. Solving for y, you get y equals 12. Inverse variation is a relationship where there's a constant product between ordered pairs. Remember, your direct variation equation was y equals k times x. This equation is y equals k divided by x, where k is a constant of proportionality. To find k, you would multiply x on both sides of the equation to get k equals xy. The graph is a hyperbola, so not a straight line. And to find missing values, we can use the formula where we multiply the ordered pairs. Remember to find the constant, k equals x times y. 1 times 20 is 20. 2 times 10 is 20. 4 times 5 is 20. So k equals 20. When we graph an inverse variation, we can plug in different values of x. If x equals 1, we would do 16 divided by 1 to get 16. If x equals 2, we would do 16 divided by 2 to get 8. If x equals 3, that's not a great number to plug in because 16 divided by 3 is not an integer. We could plug in 4. 16 divided by 4 is 4. We could plug in 8. 16 divided by 8 is 2. And we could plug in 16. 16 divided by 16 is 1. When we graph this, there's 116. Oops. 116, 2, 8, 4, 4, 8, 2, 16, 1. And you can see that it is a curved sort of line that is only in the first quadrant. If our constant of variation is 24, our equation would be y equals 24 divided by x. To make a table of values, we can plug in 1. 24 divided by 1 is 24. We could plug in 2. 24 divided by 2 is 12. We could plug in 3. 24 divided by 3 is 8. We could plug in 4. 24 divided by 4 is 6. We could plug in 6. 24 divided by 6 is 4. We could plug in 8. 24 divided by 8 is 3. And that should be enough to make a pattern. 124 is going to be up here somewhere. 2, 12, 3, 8, 4, 6, 6, 4, 8, 3. If we plugged in 12, 12, 2. And here's our curve. If a constant of variation is negative 36, y equals negative 36 divided by x. When we make a table, we want to make sure we're picking values of x that will divide nicely. If we pick 2, negative 36 divided by 2 is negative 18. If we pick 3, negative 36 divided by 3 is negative 12. If we picked 4, negative 36 divided by 4 is negative 9. If we pick 6, negative 36 divided by 6 is negative 6. We could also do 9 and 4, 12 and 3, 18 and 2. 2, negative 18, 3, negative 12, 4, negative 9, 6, negative 6, 9, negative 4, 12, negative 3, and 18, negative 2. And this curve goes down here. To find missing values, remember we use the formula xy equals xy. 12 times 14 equals negative 24 times y. And when we solve this, we'll do 12 times 14 first, which is 168. And then divide both sides by negative 24. And y equals negative 7. 6 times negative 10 equals 3y. Y is equal to negative 20. 9 times y equals negative 18 times 6. Y equals negative 12. X times negative 7 equals 21 times negative 3. X equals 9. 9 times negative 6 equals x times 3. X is equal to negative 18. 16 times negative 3 equals x times negative 6. x equals 8. Remember, direct variation is y equals kx, or x divided by y. Nope. Or y divided by x equals k. And inverse variation is y equals k over x, or xy equals k. This has a plus or minus, so it will be neither. When we solve for y equals x divided by 4, inverse. If we multiplied all of these, and we did 31 times 217, we get 6,727. 20 times 140. We get 2,800. So it's not direct variation. To check for inverse, it's not inverse. Y equals k. It's not inverse variation. To check for direct variation, to find k, we would do y divided by x. So now we need to divide this way. 217 divided by 31 is 8.74. 140 divided by 20 is 7. To check for direct variation, we need to do k equals y divided by x. 217 divided by 31 is 7. 140 divided by 20 is 7. 119 divided by 17 is 7. 12 divided by, 84 divided by 12 is 7. So this is direct variation, because to find the constant, you do y divided by x. This one, 36 divided by 3 is 12. 105 divided by 7 is 15. 50 divided by 5 is 10. So this is not direct variation. If we multiply these, 36 times 3 is 108. 105 times 7 is 735. So this is also not inverse variation. It must be neither. This is called a hyperbola. The graph of hyperbola is inverse variation. A straight line through the origin is direct variation. This does not go through the origin, and it's not a hyperbola, so it's neither. This is a quadratic. A quadratic equation is not direct or inverse. This one, if we do x times y equals k, this would be inverse. Y divided by x equals k would be direct. If we multiply these, 3 times 2 is 6, 6 times 4 is 24, 12 times 8 is neither of those, so it's not inverse. 2 divided by 3 is 2/3, 4 divided by 6 is 2/3, 8 divided by 12 is 2/3, so this is direct variation. And last one, -6 times 8 is -48. -4 times 12 is -48. Negative 3 times 16 is negative 48. Negative 2 times 24 is negative 48. When we multiply x and y together to get k, that's inverse variation. If we are applying, we just need to be able to set up an equation using one of these formulas. If a paycheck varies directly, direct variation is y equals kx. So her paycheck varies directly with the number of hours she works. If she works 19 hours, that will be x, and earns $187.15, we can find the constant of variation by doing 187.15 equals k times 19. Dividing both sides by 19, you're going to get k equals 9.85. So she earns $9.85 per hour. To find out how much she earns, y equals 9.85 times k. And we want to know how much she earns at 40 hours. So we can plug 40 hours in for k. Y equals 9.85 times 40 is $394. The number of calories in a muffin is directly proportional. Again, directly proportional means direct variation to the amount of sugar in the muffin. So calories is directly proportional to sugar. If a muffin has 200 calories and 500 grams of sugar, how many calories will a muffin with 2,075 grams of sugar have? Divide both sides by 500, and you get k equals 0.4. Writing a new equation, y equals 0.4x, and grams of sugar is 2,075. So we can do y equals 0.4 times 2,075. And we would get that there are 830 calories. The pitch of a musical note varies inversely. Remember, inverse variation is k divided by x as its wavelength. If the tone has a pitch of 440 vibrations per second and a wavelength of 2.4, we want to find the pitch of the note with a wavelength of 1.6. To find our constant of variation, we can do 440 times 2.4 and get our constant is 1,056. So y equals 1,056 divided by x. The wavelength is 1.6, so to find the pitch, we would do 1,056 divided by 1.6 and get 660. When air is pumped into an automobile tire, the pressure is inversely proportional to the volume. The pressure is 35, is inversely proportional to the volume, which is 120. To find the constant of variation, 35 times 120 is 4,200. So this relationship can be represented by y equals 4,200 divided by x. This says what is the pressure, and the pressure is y if the volume is 140 cubic inches. So y equals 4,200 divided by 140. And we get the pressure is 30 pounds.